Hey, what's up everyone? Today I've got something that's a little bit different. I know I normally put up videos that are talking about topics within the game, and it's normally me talking and you get to hear my thoughts and views, but this time I've decided to do something a little bit different. I've been talking to, or I've had a conversation with BCFC Red Army. Now, this gentleman needs no introduction as far as my channel's concerned, because his T29 bottom tier video is one of my most viewed videos on the channel. So if you want to see what kind of gameplay he can produce, you can check out that video, or you can keep watching here. So without further ado, let's jump straight in to the first of two parts. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so the first thing was you said that light tanking isn't light tanking. That caught my attention, and what did you mean by that?
So, I think light tanking should be more. You start the game, and as a light tank, you should be providing all information for your teammates.
Yeah.
So you should be going out. You should be going to the middle, finding a spot. You should be hiding. You should be sat in a bush, sat in a good position where they can't see you, and then you're there spotting them, lighting them all up. Feeds back to the team, and then the team goes, based on the information you give them, they go forward, they go back, and it's based on the information you give them. That's how they decide how they're going to play the game, how the game rolls out. I think with the console, I've never played the PC version, so by no means I'm not an expert at all. But the console version seems to be a lot more. It's more kind of let's go to the front and let's shoot somebody
more casual.
Yeah. Let's go to the front and let's shoot someone in the face. Straight within the first couple of minutes. I don't think it's quite as strategic as, say, for example, the PC version. And I think that's because I don't know if that's because I think on PC you get friendly fire. You get friendly fire on PC, and I think their games tend to last longer than the games on console. Which kind of suggests to me that they're a bit more strategic,
a bit more tactical.
That's the thing. Yeah. Whereas on console, it is a bit more right. Let's all go, everybody. Right to the front. It's just going steamroll, and which is good. I mean, it's fun. Well, it's obviously a pain in the ass sometimes because everybody gives that one fleming trace, that one flank. I mean, the chances are you're going to lose a game, and it is frustrating. I mean, I think one of the reasons it frustrates people the most about this game is it's not our team, or it's teammates. It's just people doing silly things. I think that's the biggest frustration.
You look at the mini map and you think, what the hell are you doing over there?
Yeah. Why are all the team doing that? Why are you? What's the rush, guys? And like I said, I think what I've seen on social media, and that is that the PC games statistically they last longer than the console.
Okay.
So that kind of suggests that it is a bit more right. Hold your horses. Let's have a bit more of a plan, strategy to do this, and part of that is obviously your light tanks going to your position, and then doing the info, and then just sort of sitting there, and just being the info, and like I said, but because everybody tends to just rush forward, you don't really do that. So in a light tank, you tend to be, or certainly I tend to it's very much you're on the move. It's very much about the speed, the pace, the movement of your tank. So you sort of go up and you do sort of runs. You go up, you spot. As soon as you're targeted, someone's looking at you. Get back. Hide. Get rid of that spot, so they don't pop up somewhere else. So you're constantly moving. You don't really. I mean, that's not all the time. Sometimes you can get into a really good spot and you can be in a nice bush somewhere, and then you can just sit there. It's a bit boring to be honest sometimes, but it can be really, really helpful, especially in the little, like a Vanguard or something like that with really good camo. You can just sit, you get to ridiculous positions because tanks just can't see you, and they get really, really close.
So is it? Would you say there's a propensity for console players to be too gung-ho about things. They light tanks especially, they rush in, get themselves spotted and shot out the game in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, kind of. I think it's more because it's not just. I mean, in any game, you can go out in a light tank and then you can meet another light tank and just light each other up, and that sort of thing. But you tend to. Not only are you being lit up by light tanks, you're being lit up by everything because everything's just sort of like pummeling forward.
Yeah.
If you're like, it's so sort of like everybody just run to a spot and just do as much damage as quickly as possible, rather than thinking about it a bit more. Okay, which tanks do we put here? Which tanks should we put here? And that's But the nature of the game, obviously, you've got 15 versus 15. Unless it's platoons, you've got 15 people who never played with each other before, probably, or it's obviously difficult. But it's to me, light tanking should be a bit more of the old not being spotted, or getting especially when you're not spotted and feeding back that info a bit more. I think passive rather than the sort of aggressive light tanking, which I think myself included, most people tend to do on the console version. It's about keep on moving, keep the opposition lit up for your team, keep them lit up, and most importantly, and I mean this isn't just a light tank, but this is for all tanks, heavy, medium, wherever you're in, is your hit points. It's the key really is to keep your hit points. Don't do stupid things to lose your hit points early. Because it's at the end of the game when tanks are wounded, if their drivers are gone, the gunner's gone, or their hit points are gone. That's when you can really, particularly in a light tank, if you can start to really pick off tanks that are alone.
Yes.
Not necessarily at the end of the game, to be honest. With because you are so mobile, you're constantly. I mean, I'm constantly looking at a map, especially the open maps, which is for me. I'm constantly looking at the map and see, right, who's been separated. Who's gone out. Say two players have gone out. One of them's now dead. So who's on their own?
Yeah.
And that's the dream, really. Especially in something like an autoloader, like a Lycan or something.
Yeah.
You could just go and move, get round the back, or something like
and then just take them out in one clip.
Yeah, or like the T-49, something like that. Just get around the back of it, set it on fire, put a massive shot in, and run off. So it's kind of it's aggressive in a sense from that point of view.
Aggressive, but only when you need to be.
Yeah. When you're looking, you're kind of looking for, you're sort of hunting for that sort of tank that's been separated from the herd, if you like.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned something there, which we've talked about before. I've put a video up saying that the minimap is the best thing to use when you're playing.
Yeah. But
you always use the compass.
Yeah.
Could you just explain why you do that? Because clearly the results you're getting from your gameplay are a lot better than mine. So I'm happy to learn. What is it about the compass specifically that you like?
Well, it's I'm a bit unusual, I think, because I actually started when I started the game.
Yeah, you're unusual in the sense that you're good at the game.
Well, no, not. There's plenty of players out there who are a lot better than I am. Believe me. But I'm quite unusual. I think this is quite. God, how many conversations can you have on this bloody map? And people getting really funny about it and really funny. Saying, "Well, you can't. How can you be a good player using such and such a map? It's ludicrous." I mean, a couple of things. I actually started I think I'm unusual because I started with the minimap, but then I actually switched to the compass map.
Okay.
And there was a reason for that. But you see people on social media and that sort of thing, some ridiculous comments, about the map doesn't make you a good player. It doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair enough.
That doesn't define whether you're a good player. What map you use? It's ludicrous. some people get really funny. How can you possibly be a good player using that map? But the reason I
will admit I'm one of them. I will admit I'm one of them. I've said that.
Well, and the biggest thing, one of the biggest things about this game, I mean, like I said before, you've got to keep your hit points, early. You know, end the game. It's you see these people doing, you know, huge carries, brilliant carries, amazing games, and you know, at the end it's them versus 4 tanks or something like that. The reason that they do this, and the reason that they can do this, is because they've kept their hit points earlier on in the game. And believe me, it's really difficult to carry a game like that and to kill, say, 4 tanks, you know, on one or something like that, 3 or 4 tanks or whatever. It's really difficult. But generally, what happens is that all of these tanks are wounded. You know, they've got low hit points, or they've got crew members who have died, and that's it's still really, really difficult. If you've got your hit points, full health, or you know, 75% or whatever, it's obviously a massive advantage. To have that. So it's so crucial to keep. And also, it's like, I mean, if you're in that position at the end of the game, and then you're full health, and then you're fighting for full health tanks, I mean, you've got no, you know, there's no chance. There's just no way, you know, unless you're really lucky. So I don't know that you can do it. But that's what I have to do. Like, so with the map, with the map, so I think that I mean, if you look at it, there's lots of people. If you look at like the best players, some people use the compass map, some people use the mini map. So you can't sort of say, oh, that one is definitely better than that one, because you've got some amazing players out there, like, you know, top of the game, and you know, some of them use one, some of them use both and can switch, you know, in between game, which is amazing. But the reason I use compass map is because and this is really, really, really out there. But this is a theory I have, is there are first off, there are advantages to using the compass map, such as, and everybody knows this. I mean, this isn't new. Things like the detail that you get, you know, the buildings. If you're fighting a tank, so you're in a light tank and you're running around buildings, you know, you get that detail. You understand better where it's moving. The proxy spotting is easier because that little round circle around your tank is bigger because it's more concentrated. That sort of thing. I also like the way that the compass moves as you move, as you look around. Yep. The compass moves with you, and I personally quite like that. I find that useful, and I just quite like that. Obviously, the mini map. If when I switch to the mini map, or if I switch, it sounds really weird, but I sort of almost get disorientated because it's not moving as I move. Okay. You know, I'm kind of used to it moving. But one of the reasons that I switched to the compass map, and this is sort of my sort of crazy theory, is that I reckon, and I submit to you, that I have better situational awareness than you do, and this is just a theory, I'm not saying this is correct. Better situational awareness, and I know what's going on around the battlefield because I use that compass map. And the reason is the way that my brain works, right? And I hazard a guess, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I hazard a guess that a lot of people's brain works, right, is that the not knowing panics you, and it panics me. So I'm there playing my game and everything, and then I've been used to that mini map, and then I switch this compass map, and then my brain's constantly, I've got the benefits which I just explained, but my brain's constantly saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's in A1? What's in B5? What's going on? You can't see what's going on. You can't see what's going on. So when I play, I am constantly pressing that button to look at the mini map, because my brain's almost sort of forcing me to do it, if you see what I mean. No,
I do get that.
Because I don't know, it forces me to look at it, and you've got to do something, and it almost becomes a habit of every time you shoot, every time you go into cover, you constantly look at it, constantly. I mean, it's really weird because I'm constantly flashing between one, but you kind of get used to it, and it kind of forces you to look around. Whereas if it's there, you know, I wasn't looking at it because it was there, and you almost think that, oh, it'll be all right because it's there. I can see it, so you don't look at it as much.
Yes.
In a weird sort of way.
Yes.
You know, I know, because it's there. You're not looking at it because you know it's there. That's not going to make the battle go any different because it's there. You know, you've got to look at it. So I found forcing myself to look at it because I'm not looking at it, and my mind's sort of telling me, you got to look, you got to look. You don't know what's going on. And then you gradually you sort of use it, or I use it less and less as you become more experienced, and you sort of you kind of, you know, and then you've got the absolute top players. I'm sure. I mean, they can look at a map within the first 30 seconds, minute of a battle. They can look at a captain, and they know just from experience exactly how this battle's going to pan out, because they're using their compass map, but because they've seen the first minute of movements, you know, for experience, they can tell how it's going to pan out. I mean, obviously they don't just not look at it for the rest of the game. Of course, they are going to go backwards. You have to, but you sort of get better and better at not using it. It's I know it's a bit weird.
No, I would.
That's a theory I've got.
Yeah. No, well, since our previous conversation, I've tried this. I took my T29 out yesterday evening, and at the start of the game, I switched to the compass, and what I noticed was that because I only had the compass to look at, all I could see what was going on around me immediately. Yeah. And in that game, it meant that I was totally aware of where the Conqueror was off to my right. I was aware that I think it was an A44 was off to my left, and before you'd look at the mini map and you'd think, right, I've got this vehicle and this vehicle around me immediately, and then for me anyway, I would then look at the other areas of the map where I'm, you know, the other side of the map where I can't influence what's going on there at all, but my mind would be distracted by, oh look, they're outflanking us over there, or there's not enough people over there. And it breaks my concentration on what was happening around me immediately, because I'm spending all my time taking in too much information. And I noticed yesterday, you know, my T29 it's stock. I haven't played it enough to get it all the way up yet, but in that game, even though I was stock, I felt as though I was more engaged with what was happening around me immediately, and you know, it was a defeat in the end, but I felt as though I engaged more than I probably would have done because I was more focused on what was happening around me. So I can understand what you're getting at.
I find it so useful. So I mean, even if you're on a ridge or something like that, and you're close quarters fight, it's so useful just to see what that tank, if you can. You know it's there, obviously, but you can't see. Is it? It's just that split second to see it retreating. Yeah. That's a huge advantage because you can see it's going back. Therefore, right, he's going back. You know, just little details. It's all about. I mean, to me, this game's all about sort of numbers and percentages. And it's just getting those little advantages on your opponent. You know, those little things to make a difference.
You'd say the mini-map is one of the little advantages because it forces you to check the wider map because you don't have that information available to you all the time.
But that's I mean,
that sort of sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it helps because you've got those close quarters advantages, but it almost like it sounds crazy, isn't it? But it's you're almost tricking your brain into it does. I mean, when I started doing this, I was constantly thinking, Christ, I don't know what's going on over there. I can't see. You know, you look, you really look, and you eventually get into a habit of doing it. And so as soon as you see you're in a big heavy tank, you fire, you go back into cover, and as part of that, as you're going in, you have a quick look. You take the button, press the button, see what's happening, and then go back, and it becomes just part of your sort of gameplay. Really, that's what I've kind of found, really. Yeah.
So by denying yourself access to the information all the time, you're forcing yourself to look at because I think what you said was in our previous conversation was if it's not always there for you to look at, you're forced to look at it more often because you're denying yourself that information in the first place.
Exactly.
That's a very interesting take.
Exactly.
I'd never even considered that.
I know.
I'd never even considered that.
It's just sort of like, I mean, you can put that to any sort of walk of life. What is it? What is it that people hate the most? It's the not knowing, in everything, isn't it? In your work, in your home life, everything.
Yes.
Not knowing is what
Yes.
causes you to panic, doesn't it? It's the not
Yeah.
knowing that causes your brain to panic. It's a similar sort of thing. You didn't know what's going on. You can't see. Look.
So by not knowing, you're forcing yourself to check.
Yeah.
See that?
And
That's
and this game as well. It's not about when I did switch, I found it difficult at first. Like, I mean, it's like changing your loadout and your controller or something like that. It is difficult. It's not a quick fix like that. But this game is about sort of longevity. It's about doing it. Because some people will try something for one game, and it won't work out. And think, I'm not doing that again. No, that doesn't work. But you can't just do it one game. You've got to do it 100 games. It's just,
yes.
This game's about having thousands of games, really, getting experience. And you can't just have one game and think, oh no, that doesn't work.
Well,
that goes for a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things that can change. Like your loadout, the way you play, your consumables, all that sort of thing. It's no good just having one game and and putting those binos off in one game. Oh well, I was taking that priority, therefore it doesn't work. That's nonsense. You got to play games, some games.
Well, you briefly touched on it just then, and that is you'll go for any small advantage you can get, in whatever sense you can. So that to me means that you go back to before you're even in a game. This is talking about the crew skills that you've got, the equipment you've got on your tanks, the consumables you've got. Even your ammo loadout. In relation to getting any advantage, any small advantage, how does that play out for you? What do you think about as far as getting small advantages in the game?
Well, I sort of think it depends how far you want to take this game. I mean, how serious you want to take it. I mean, I never really used to take this game seriously. Started this game with my son, really. My son.
Okay, all right.
We just it was a game that we could both play, and had thousands of games just having fun, really, in the sort of lower tiers. And then you go up a tier, and it's exciting. You get a new tank and that sort of. But we never used to put equipment on. I never used to, no, I didn't.
Oh, really?
Didn't train any crews. It was just me and my son, just playing and blasting stuff.
Yeah.
Really, because I'm having fun together. And then he's sort of older now, so he's gone on to he's gone, oh, this is boring.
He's left you. He's left you behind.
Yeah. And I've picked it up and carried on. And I've taken it. I've taken it. I do take it. I do take this game seriously to a certain extent. I mean, obviously it's a fun, it's something I enjoy doing. And
Yeah.
you sort of just got to think. I mean, the way I look at it is, how seriously do you want to take it? I mean, I just try and get as much of an advantage as I can over everybody else, just to increase my chance of penning or spotting or whatever it is. So I put premium consumables in them generally in every game. So
Oh right, okay.
So I tend to run. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so you've got, for you in a typical game, you'd well, I mean, you've said what approach are people taking to the game? If you're taking a casual approach where, like you said at first, you were just having fun with your son, you weren't taking it too seriously, and that's fine if that's the approach. But if you're someone who wants to, for example, get those marks of excellence, or improve your win rate, or improve your WN8, whatever it might be, whatever stat you're going for.
Yeah.
If you want to improve, No, let's start with crew skills, for example. What would you prioritise
So yeah,
for light tanks specifically?
For light tanks, it's well, for any tank. I mean, the three sort of basic skills that I think everybody gets, really, everybody knows about. You need, obviously, it's such an advantage. You need your sixth sense, and you need brothers in arms just to increase everything.
Yep.
And repair skills is really important.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Although it's sort of like with light tanks as well, I never. Well, with light tanks, the thing is you've got to be, like I said before, you've got to be moving a lot. So hopefully you're not getting hit, because generally in a light tank, if you get hit twice, you're out the match.
Yeah.
You know. So, but having said that, you do get tracked. Obviously, you do. So it's murder. You get tracked and you're stuck there for 20 seconds, whatever it is. You know, whilst everybody's looking at you. You know. But I mean, I tend to. And I guess it's not. I mean, light tanks, I definitely go for more of the camo.
Okay.
Camo skills is quite important, but basically for all tanks, just generally the gun handling and the view range. Get your view range, get your gun handling, and for light tanks specifically, get your camo factor, because I think the camo factor is not for light tanks. It stays on constantly. I think
even when you're moving, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. That's I think. And then it's, but it doesn't. It only affects if you have it on, say, a medium or a heavy. It only affects it once you've stopped. A bit like a camo net, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's the thing. So for light tanks, it's all about you getting the best view range, because that's what you're there. You're there to spot. You're there to see.
Yes.
And your camo, so that it is hidden for as much as you can. I mean, I know I said at the beginning that because of the nature of the game, you don't tend to get in these positions, where you're in a position you can't see, but you do. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not totally. You do end up in these positions. When you are in these positions where they can't see, that's when your camo skill can really be an advantage. If you do get here at the end of the game, if you're at the end of the game and you're fighting a couple of tanks or something, and you've got view range on them and the camo on them, then all you've got to do, to have those skills is so advantageous. You go to position on the map and they can't see you, and obviously that's a huge advantage. And you can shoot them and run around and
so
have fun, and they can't see you.
Yeah. So essentially, it's prioritising. Well, the first three basics really, improving your skill, your crew skill, XP earning kind of thing, and sixth sense, so you know when you're spotted. Your own self-awareness.
Yes.
But then it's anything to improve your camo rating, your concealment, on the move, whatever it might be, and that goes for equipment as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So, I tend to use the same loadout really for whether it's certainly. Well, yeah, really for lights, mediums, and heavies. It's I like to have optics.
I was going to ask, are you camo net? No, not camo net. Sorry.
Nah.
Binos or coated optics?